Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kal Halayim La Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Barakah HaKodash, which means all praises to Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father. Bahasham means in the name. Yahweh Shai is the name of his only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. Barakah HaKodash means in the Holy Spirit, Spirit of truth, on the way we worship the Father and the Son. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all you brothers who are preaching the gospel in truth and in sincerity, always in charity. It's Brother Mathathi from the Great Millstone Camp, the branch on Des Moines. And the title of his lesson is Prophesying of Things That Haven't Happened Yet. Now, that's taken out of the book of Hebrews 11, the 7th verse, and it's out of the NLT version. You know, Spirit had me come across this, so I was wooed in the Spirit, off the word. And without further ado, we'll get right into it. Now, this is the book of Hebrews 11 and 7 in the NLT. It says, "It was by faith that Noah built a large boat to save his family from the flood. He obeyed the Most High," this is the point, "who warned him about things that had never happened before. By his faith, Noah condemned the rest of the world, and he received the righteousness that comes by faith." Now, what was Noah warned of? Noah was warned of the flood to come, that it would rain upon the earth. See, because it tells us here in the book of Genesis, the 7th chapter, this Genesis 7 in verse 11, it says, "In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up," meaning the water that was under the ground. The Lord opened those, and the windows of heaven were open in the waters that's up in the heavens. The Lord opened them as well. Verse 12, "And the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. So before this took place, before the Lord actually brought the flood upon the earth, it never rained on the earth. It tells us here in Genesis 2 and 6, "But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground." So that's how the plants, the vegetation received, the water. It was the dew, it was the mist that came from the ground. So it never rained before. So Noah was prophesying of what was to come. It says how the fountains of the deep and the fountains in heaven was broken up. It tells us here in Second Esdras 4 and 7, "He said unto me, if I should ask thee how great dwellings are in the midst of the sea, or how many springs are in the beginning of the deep," see, that's those fountains under in the deep, "and how many springs are above the firmament, or which are the outgoings of paradise." So the point being is that there's water underneath the water, and there's water up in the heavens, man. And the Lord opened up both of them. You see, so water was coming out from under the ground, and it rained like never before on the earth. So going back to this precept, Noah was warning of the rain to come, which it never happened before. And it's the same thing that's taking place in today's time. It tells us here in the book of Matthew, the 24th chapter. This Matthew 24 and 37. "But as the days of Noah were, so also shall the coming of the Son of Man be." You see? So we're prophesying, just like how Noah prophesied of how it would rain and how it never rained before. We're prophesying of things to come upon this earth that never happened before, man. The major thing being nuclear war, ICBM nuclear missiles, right? Destroying nations, man. That never happened before, and yet we're prophesying of that to come. You see? It talks about in the book of Isaiah. Let's get that. Isaiah 9 and 5. It says, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire." So this third war's war that the Lord is going to muster, right? Like the scriptures use. This third war's war, The Lord is going to cause Esau to destroy himself, man. This is the book of Revelation 11 and 14. The second woe is past. The second world war is past. And behold, the third woe, the third world war cometh quickly, man. And like I mentioned, it's the Lord that controlling this. This is the book of Isaiah, the 13th chapter, the 4th verse. It says, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. Yahweh Basham Yahushua, Lord of hosts, mustereth the host of the battle, man. So it's the Lord that's doing this. It tells us here in the book of Zephaniah 3 and 8. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith Yahweh Basham Yahushua, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy, man. You see? So this has never before happened. A war being fought with nuclear missiles, man. You see, America is going to be erased off the map. This verse back in Isaiah 13, verse 5. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even Yahweh Basham Yahushua, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. And it's speaking about what? Babylon, when you see Isaiah 13 and 1. It's not talking about ancient Babylon. It's not talking about over there in Iraq. It's talking about here in America, this great city, right? According to Revelation 11. You see? That great whore that's written in Revelation 17 and in Revelation 18. So this destruction, verse 6, Isaiah 13 and 6, how ye, for the day of Yahweh Basham Yahushua is at hand, it shall come as a destruction from the Almighty, man. You see, this is what's about to happen upon this place. Because the Lord said, what it just said, what? How was it worded? The weapons of his indignation. In the book of Jeremiah, it says that the Lord opened his armory. How is it worded in Jeremiah? This is the book of Jeremiah 50. Is it 50 or 51? It was literally just in my mind, and now it just left me. The weapons of his indignation. Man, how is it worded? Let's see. This is a good one right here. I started at verse 14. This is Jeremiah 50. I started 13. It says, because of the wrath of Yahweh Basham Yahushua, it shall not be inhabited. Talking about America. But it shall be wholly desolate, like we just read in Isaiah 13. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow, all you nations who have nuclear capabilities. Because bend the bow, right, is parabolic for nuclear capabilities. It tells us here in the book of Psalm 7, I believe. Yep. Psalm 7 and 13. See if I start up. Yep. I started 11. It says, the Most High judgeth the righteous, and the Most High is angry with the wicked every day. If he turn not, he will whet his sword, sharpen his sword. He hath bent his bow and made it ready. He hath also prepared for him the instruments of death. He ordained his arrows against the persecutors, man. You see, the instruments of death is talking about what? These missiles. That's why it says that the Lord created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. This Isaiah 54 and 16, behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. And it's talking about what? Those scientists, man. And that bringeth forth an instrument. It just called it an instrument in the book of Psalms for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy the whole land. Like we read in Isaiah 13. See how these precepts link together, man? So that we can see the picture, so that we can see the vision. And these are the things that we were warned of. That never happened on earth before, man. Back in Jeremiah 50 and 14, put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow. Shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she has sinned against Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, man. Going back to Isaiah the 13th chapter, what did it say? It says that they come from a far country. You see? And it tells us here in the book of 2nd Esdras. This is the book of 2nd Esdras 16. And let's start at 12. It says, the earth quaketh in the foundations thereof. And what's going to cause the whole earth to shake? Nuclear missiles, man. It says the earth really to and fro like a drunkard. It tells us in the book of Revelation. See, the ancient prophets seen these things, and they wrote these things down for us today. This is the book of Revelation 6 and 12. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. So these stars that John is explaining is talking about nuclear missiles. Isaiah seen the same thing. This is the book of Isaiah 34, and I start at 1. Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. So this is the gathering of the nations, you see. For the indignation of Yahweh Basham Yahushai is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. A great destruction and devastation is going to happen upon this earth, man. Verse 4. And all the host of heaven, that's the stars, you see, shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their host shall fall down as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as the falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea. The modern day Idumea is talking about America. It's talking about Babylon. And upon the people of my curse to judgment, man. You see? So it says how the Lord will wet his sword. So the sword and the arrows is synonymous. Is going into those nuclear missiles. Back in Revelation 6 in verse 14 now. And the heaven departed as a scroll. That's your mushroom cloud. Same thing Isaiah seen that we just read. When it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places, man. Earthquake. You see? Great earthquake. Back in 2nd Esdras 16 and 12, the earth quaketh in the foundations thereof. The sea ariseth up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled. So when this whole earth shake to and fro like a drunkard, what do you think is going to happen to all the water that's on the earth? This is the book of Habakkuk 3 and 10. The mountains saw thee, and they trembled. Earthquake. The overflowing of the water passed by. The deep uttered his voice and lifted up his hands on high. Tidal waves, man. You see? And all the ancient prophets saw the devastation and the destruction that was to come upon this place. Back in verse 12. 2nd Esdras 16 and 12. The earth quaketh in the foundations thereof. The sea ariseth up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also before the Lord and before the glory of his power. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world, man. You see? The world, Craig. So these intercontinental ballistic missiles, it goes from one continent to another, from one end of the earth to the other end, is what's going to bring Esau's power structure to its knees, man. Back in Jeremiah 50. And 15. Shout against her round about. She hath given her hand. Her foundations are fallen. Her walls are thrown down. For it is the vengeance of Yahweh Basham Yahushai. Take vengeance upon her as she had done do unto her. So it ain't no delivering this place, man. Your little uh missile defense systems, none of that shit is going to work, man. The weapons of it, I knew it said armory. uh Jeremiah 50 jumped down to 25. Yahweh Basham Yahushai hath opened his armory, that's the weapons of his indignation, and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation. Man, what did Isaiah call it? It said the same thing. Man, why did I think it said something different? The weapons of his indignation, for this is the work of the Lord power, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, the Lord of hosts, in the land of the Chaldeans, man. You see? So this is what's to be brought upon this place, man. Something that never happened on the earth before. Just like the flood was brought, which is called the first death. Likewise, the fire will be brought, which is called the second death. This is the book of 2 Peter 3 in verse 5. It says, for this they willingly are ignorant of, that by the word of the Most High the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water, whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished. So back then they were willingly ignorant, right? As Noah was warning over 100 years of what was to come. They continued in a wickedness, man. Going back to that Matthew 24. Let's go back to that Matthew 24. Because what did they continue in? Back in Matthew 24:38. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark. Right? It says, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. So it says that they were willingly ignorant of the fact that by the word of the Lord, everything continued as it was. Until what? Until that day that the Lord ordained to the judgment to come. And it's the same thing as today. That's why it says that the Lord, well, further down, verse 9, I'm going to just skip ahead. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise, the promise of our deliverance, the promise of our dwelling in our lands safely. The Lord is not slack concerning that, man. You see? But the reason that this place is continuing is because the Lord is bound by his word. By his word, these things continue. Like it says, by the word of the Most High, the heavens were of old. Until what? Until that set day that the Lord see fit to bring forth that destruction. That's why it says here in the book of Revelation, Salakia. This is the book of Revelation 9 and 15, and the four angels were loosed. Now you can link these four angels together with the four angels in Revelation 7. In Revelation 7, it tells us that these same four angels is holding back the winds. Revelation 7 and 1, and after these things I saw four angels standing on the four corners of the earth, holding the four winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And what are these winds that these angels are holding back? What do they represent? Let's go back to the book of Jeremiah. Is it 51 or 50? Yep. Jeremiah 51 and 1. Thus saith Yahweh Basham Yahushai, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind. And what's that destroying wind? That's that nuclear blast, man. In the book of Isaiah, the 14th chapter, he called it the besom of destruction. A besom, it goes, that Hebrew word means sweeping. So that blast, that power, that wind is going to sweep this place clean, man. All you got to do is Google nuclear blast, man. You know, or results of a nuclear blast or an atomic blast. And man, you'll see, just based off an atomic blast, man, how devastating that is. And nuclear is said to be X amount of times stronger than that. You see, that's why verse 3 says, against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow. It's those missiles, man. So let's go back. Revelation 9 and 15. And the four angels were loosed, those same angels that's holding the winds, that's holding the destruction, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of men. And the third part of men represents Esau, Edom, sons of the Most High, right? Sons of God, which are the Israelites, sons of men, which are the other nations, Moab, Ammon, Ishmael, right? Ham, so forth and so on. And then you got sons of the wicked, which are the Edomites. And this destruction is what's going to bring their kingdom down. Verse 16, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. You see? And these are going into warheads because each missile is capable of carrying multiple warheads. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and brimstone, and the heads, the warheads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouth issued fire and smoke and brimstone. That's the warheads. By these three was the third part of men killed, by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. For their power is in their mouth, the warhead, and in their tails, the propulsion. That's how they get from one continent to another. You see? They can travel thousands of miles in a matter of minutes. It says, for their tails were like unto serpents and had heads, and with them they do hurt. That's those warheads, man. You see? So it's a set day and time. So going back to 2 Peter, just like how these people back then before the flood was willingly ignorant, it's the same people how they are today. Back in 2 Peter 3, verse 6, whereby the world that then was being overflowed with water perished. But the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. You see? And that is called the second death. Revelation 2:11. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death. You see, Revelation 20:14. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. That's the nuclear destruction. This is the second death. So the Lord made a covenant and he promised that he wouldn't destroy the earth with water again. That's why he's bringing this fire. You see? To cleanse this earth of the wickedness. That's why it says Sodom and Gomorrah were an example, right, unto men of what happened when you would live ungodly. You see? And what did the Lord do with Sodom and Gomorrah? He rained down fire and brimstone upon that place. And that was a foreshadow of what was to happen to America, what was going to happen to America, man. You see? So going back, Hebrews 11:7 in the NLT, it was by faith that Noah built a large boat to save his family from the flood. He obeyed the Most High, who warned him about things that had never happened before. By his faith, Noah condemned the rest of the world, and he received the righteousness that comes by faith, man. And we're in that stead. We're warned. We were warned of things that haven't happened before, right? The nuclear destruction that's going to take place. And we, in turn, condemning the rest of the world. We're, in turn, doing the same. We're coming in the stead of Noah. Right? We're testifying. What do Yahweh say? He testified against this world that the works are evil, and it's the same thing as us, man. And those who the Lord grant to believe, who the Lord blesses to receive faith and understand this message, you will become heirs of righteousness, right? Which is just how I say it with Noah when you read it in the KJV, and became heir of the righteousness, which is by faith. You know? And for those who can't see it, the Lord has ordained you to destruction. You know, but, like I said, I was just wooed off, the word in here. It says, he prophesied of things that had never happened before. So, that's what inspired me to do this lesson. I had more to go into, like Daniel 12, it says there shall be a time on this earth like none other. You know, Isaiah the 47th chapter speaks about how this place has lived deliciously. So, these people are not going to be, you know, they're not used to what this place is about to turn into, man. America's about to turn into a totalitarian state, right? They already got certain mandates and laws on the books, man. To quarantine people, to hold them against their will, to kick in your doors and take down your house and do all these different things, man. You know, it's about to be a orchestrated famine upon this place, as it is written in Second Esdras. It speaks about friends searching their neighbors' houses with the sword. It says sedition, uprising of government. See, these are things that never happened before in America, man. you know, and these things is about to take place on a mass scale, man, and these people ain't ready for it. But that's it, man. I'm gonna end it there. Lord's will, I hope this was edifying. Thawad Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, for giving me the spirit to do this lesson. And there's many more precepts going into the nuclear destruction to take place, man. Yeah, man. you know, but that's it. That's it. Shalom.